Alright, so I got tired of the Reddit making teams with the same duos and trios, so I made the MCC teams that you didn't know you needed. Most of these teams were just people I felt like needed to see interact, but there are other reasons too. Here are a few things to note from these teams. They're all balanced. Red is statistically strong because of inflated stats from one player. Orange is statistically weak because of deflated stats from two players. All stats are from before MCC 20 because I'm too lazy to update them. These teams were not made with the intent of matching PG people with PG people, but with that being said, there really isn't any incompatibility in these teams. Also, H-Bomb and CPK are not in these teams. With that, let's get to the teams. First, we have the Red Rabbits with Puns, Vicstar, Preston, and Jerome. I've been wanting to see the pack interact with new MCYT more, and this team could be one of those relationships. Puns is my favorite streamer, and I've been wanting to see him interact with more people outside of his circles. I feel like this team would excel in PvP games, especially survival games, with Puns and Vic both being on the team. This is the table of statistics. It shows average points per game and their average placement on the team. Looking at the stats, we can see that of the 12 games we might see in MCC soon, Puns and Vic both score over 400 on average in survival games. Puns also scores over 400 on Ace Race, while Vic does the same on Hole in the Wall. Puns doesn't score less than 250 points on average in any game, while Vic's Sands of Time averages his only score below 240. Preston has proved he's worth his weight in parkour tag, as well as 3 other games, and Jerome has had good survival games before and is a pretty consistent support player. This team's average score is just barely above 10k due to inflated scores by Vic. I have a feeling we will see another 2500-ish score from Vic again, though, which would drop their average into the 9600s. Strong, but balanced. Next, we have the Orange OCElots with Pizza Hut, Skeppy, Bad Boy Halo, and Krytic Zeus. I've been wanting to see Pete and everyone else for that matter grow their circles more, and Skep Boy Halo is a good place to start. Zeus has been wanting more competitive teams, so he's a good 4th here. This team could show Skeppy's true potential for an event, since he will have played before. Pete has proven time and time again that he is among the best at MCC, and even though his recent scores has put that into question, he has said again and again that is because the pressure no longer matters to him. If this team were to dominate a game, it would be to get to the other side. Skeppy has proven he can be a beast at that game, and with Pete on the team, I can see the foursome going far. Stats time. Their average coins is lowest because of deflated averages from Skeppy and Zeus, but I think this team can do really well at movement and communication games. Like I said before, Skeppy's to get to the other side is his best game by a lot, which means in a real MCC, they should play it as late as possible. I can see Sands of Time being a good game for them too, with Bad Boy Halo being coached by Dream and Pete being Pete. They could dominate. On the Yellow Yaks, we have Scott S. Major, Fundy, Jack Manifold, and Jordan Captain Sparkles. A team that could get Jordan his first win, we will see. I've been wanting Scott and Fundy to team up for a while, simply because I feel like they would bounce off of each other real well. Add Jack's chaotic energy and Jordan's wholesome energy, and this team is just straight vibes. This team has an average of just over 9,000, which is a perfectly balanced team. While this may seem like just an okay team, I must address something I like to call the Jack Manifold effect. Whenever Jack's team is playing a game that is strong for the team, Jack seems to rise to the occasion and do better than he normally does to increase his team's final score by a lot. This is especially prevalent in MCC 14 to get to the other side, MCC 15 Ace Race, and MCC 16 Sky Battle. After that, Jack has gotten significantly weaker teams, and I haven't seen it occur after MCC 16, but his teams after MCC 16 were much more team-oriented, and in team games, it is harder to determine who earned what points. Looking at the stats, we can see Fundy is the only member of the team that has games where he averages 400 or more coins in, and they are both movement games. The next closest person is Jordan with his Ace Race performances, 13 coins shy. This team should focus on movement and team games and avoid PvP. Fundy's 3 weakest games are the PvP games, and the other 3's performances don't compensate for that. I can see this team winning if movement games get played late. On the Lime Llamas, we have Fruitberries, Antfrost, Kara, and Gumi. Anyone remember the Twitch rivals the day before MCC 14? This team is inspired by Team Fruit from that event. The original team consisted of Fruitberries, Puns, Antfrost, Dylan, Kara, Base Trade, and Ducky the Gamer. Taking 3 of those members and Gumi from our beloved PP crew, we have the Lime Llamas. Antfrost is pretty much a Fruitberry stand at this point, and Gumi is good friends with 2 of them. Kara and MCC regular will fit right in. Now let's look at stats now, shall we? This team comes in just a few points stronger than the Yellow Yaks, making for another perfectly balanced team. We can see in the table that Antfrost covers Fruit's relative PvP weakness, with Fruit being good at Sky Battle and survival games, and Ant being good at Battle Box. This team will seemingly excel at grid runners as well, as one team member on MCC 18 Aqua, and one was on MCC 19 Aqua, and one was on both. Overall, it is a pretty well-rounded team with potential weaknesses in Sands of Time and Build Mart. On the Green Geckos, we have Dave Kratzy, Tommy, Tubbo, and Nikki. This team was inspired by MCC 14 Red. In my opinion, it's actually a buff because Dave is more up-to-date on how the games work than Vic is, even though Vic has better stats. This team would be co-led by Tommy and Dave, with Tommy making the main calls, especially in PvP games. This is where I see the value in having Dave on the team, though. Dave has a way of talking to people that can just ground them and reset them, something Tommy can't do. Tommy can get a team hyped up, but in the process they may lose their goal, and Dave would help to balance this. Let's look at the stats. This team's coin average is a little lower than the rest at about 8,600, but MCC 14 Red shows that the stats wouldn't matter as much as in this team, especially if survival games and Sky Battle are played. This table really shows the strengths and weaknesses with this team, with Dave and Tommy being really consistent through the games, both struggling in most of the team games. Tubbo is a little less consistent with a score of 400 in Rocket Spleef and a score of 211 in Parkour Tag. He has pop-off potential, it just depends on the day. Inversely, from Tommy and Dave, Nikki's best games are all the team games. They are the only ones she scores above 200 points in. If Nikki can somehow cover the leader's weaknesses, I can see this team going far. Next, we have the Cyan Coyotes with Dream, George, Jimmy, and Martin. Jimmy's Solidarity Gaming, and Martin is in the Little Wood. 2 iconic duos come together for this team, Dream Not Found, combined with Jimmy and Martin, aka Solidarity Gaming and In the Little Wood, will be a strong team to face in any game due to strengths in every corner of the MCC game field. Dream, George, and Martin have all proven they can come top 5 in Ace Race. I also think this team would dominate in Sands of Time. Let's look at the stats, shall we? This team's average coins comes in a little higher than the rest, at a little over 9,300, but looking at individual games, we can see this team would want to play Ace Race and Sky Battle, Hole in the Wall to get to the other side, Battle Box, Bingo, Sands of Time, and Build Mart. Bingo and Build Mart would love to be played early on, but none of these 4 players are super weak in any game, but definitely avoid Rocket Spleef at all costs. I didn't expect this team to do so well in the Hole in the Wall. This team is incredibly well-rounded stats-wise. On the Aqua Axolotls, we have Wisp, Awesome Dude, Tapple, and Rye Guy Rocky. This is a team that will easily win the tournament without contest if all 4 players have a good day. We know all 4 are probably capable of getting top 10, and Tapple is even capable of getting first if he has a good day. The thing about Tapple is the only time his leadership really shined was in MCC 15. After and before that, he was just a player that did well without really doing callouts. This team really depends on everyone, especially Tapple, to have a good day. This team comes in at just shy of 8,700 average coins, which makes them a weaker team statistically. Tapple is particularly good at PvP and movement games, while Rye Guy is good at movement and team games. Wisp is good at PvP and team games, while Sam's strengths seem to be in the same areas. Rocket Spleef is an interesting game for this team because 2 players are exceptional at it, while the other 2 are quite below average. I would shoot to play it early because if below average players get average scores, the game would be a net positive for the team. They should also shoot to play all of the PvP games in MCC as well. On the Blue Bats, we have Quig, SB737, Wilbur, and Shovel. This is the team I have the least confidence in when it comes to its ability to mesh well. Wilbur has been PG before, but he's a very clingy person. Yes, this is a criticism. He likes to team with the same people over and over again. This time he has to mix it up. He's with a good friend, Shelby, but he doesn't know Quig or SB very well. And it'll be interesting to see how his dry humor and one-liners fit into this team. I think Quig will get a kick out of them, but I'm not sure about SB. This team's average coins is a little shy of 9,300, putting them on the stronger end of these teams. The table shows Quig's incredible consistency with a lowest score of 300 flat and a highest score exceeding 550. This team will do the best at team games, but won't be bad at PvP or movement games either. Wilbur is good at Rocket Spleef, SB is good at Ace Race, and Shelby's good at Build Mart. If Quig feels confident enough, I would even play Sky Battle and Bingo, even though his teammates aren't as good at it. This is an incredibly strong team, potentially hindered by communication problems. On the Purple Pandas, we have Sapnap, Hannah XX Rose, Captain Puffy, and G Nelly. I've been wanting to see Sapnap with 3 female teammates for a while now. We saw it with Puns in MCC All-Stars, and Sapnap also requested to be on the Purple Pandas again a while ago. So a while back, Sapnap couldn't do well in Sky Battle because he didn't have someone to back him up. Hannah is that person on this team. She's his right-hand woman. I have a feeling Sky Battle and To Get to the Other Side will be her best games, and this team will dominate both of them. Hannah is the only new player I have added to this team because she's my favorite creator that's not in MCC. This is my video. I make the rules. For stats, I use CPK's stats for Hannah because it will be her first event. This team clocks about a 9,000 average, perfectly balanced. The table shows an interesting scenario. Hannah and Puffy are really consistent in this scenario, while Sapnap and G are not. G has only played in 1 event. That's where the inconsistency comes from there. But Sapnap's ability in Rocket Spleef has proven to be non-existent so far, so unless he can play the game well now, it might forever be his weak point. This was part of the reason Sapnap has done so well so far in Season 2. No Rocket Spleef. Anyways, this team should focus on team and PvP games and play them late. G struggles really hard in movement games, as seen in her Ace Race and To Get to the Other Side scores, which is why I believe movement is their weakest category. On the Pink Parrots, we have Illumina, Krenios, Grian, and False Symmetry. I thought I'd cut the Reddit some slack on this one. This one is for the Reddit. I know the Reddit's 2 favorite players are Grian and Illumina, so here it is. I made the Pink Parrots just for them. This team combines 2 out of the 4 Teal Turkeys with 2 Hermits to create one of the best vibes an MCC team could ever have. Believe me, I love Teal Turkeys just as much as everyone else did. This is another team that will do well in movement and team games and okay in PvP games. The team's average score is 9,250, which puts them in 4th overall after Red, Cyan, and Blue. Despite Illumina's weakness in it, this team should play Rocket Spleef. And after MCC 20, I'm not sure if Illumina still has a weakness in Rocket Spleef. Krenios and the Hermits are all good at it, and Illumina is clearly getting the hang of it quickly. Ace Race is another game they should all play, along with Battlebox, Bingo, and Grid Runners. One team member has a strong point in all of these games, and they should capitalize on that. Overall, this team should focus on movement and team games in order to get to Dodgebolt. These are the MCC teams you didn't know you needed. Feel free to put your predictions in the comments or recommend me other players to put in place of some other players, new players, returning players. Where would you put H-Bomb and CPK if you were going to put them in these teams? just put all sorts of random stuff in the comments. I like reading comments. I like having conversations about MCC. So, yeah, with that, I'll see you all in the next video.